Hey everyone, Daniel here. In this video, we're going to take a look inside The Secret Life of Lego Bricks by Daniel Konstanski. This book was published through Unbound, which is like Kickstarter for books, and unless you're one of the original backers, it's pretty hard to get your hands on. But in this video, I'm going to give you a peek inside and show you what I think are the top 5 secrets from The Secret Life of Lego Bricks. Number 5, behind the scenes photos. Throughout the book, there are many photos of how Lego is made, concept artwork, things of that nature. So I'm just grouping together several of them for this number 5 topic. Here you can see an Aquanauts setup, probably used either for the box art or for a catalog. I think it's really cool how they used to do these old photo shoots where they'd have sort of paper mache, clay, what have you, landscapes that they'd put the sets in front of. Here's some early concept art of the Lego Star Wars logo, hand-drawn. Here's a photograph of Lego bricks being molded, and also another one of the mold shop and some service being done on a mold. This is an older style mold where you have these large sprues between the bricks. Nowadays they use hot sprues so you don't have that wasted plastic between them, but pretty cool to see how it used to be done. Here's a few images of how packaging is done in the plants and the automated process to get all the bricks into the bags and bags into the boxes. Number 4, Ninjago concept creation. The book details the creative process behind creation of the Ninjago theme and various alternatives that were considered along the way, concept art and so on. Here's some early concept art of a very high-tech vision of Ninjago. Interesting alternative form the theme could have taken with dragon ninjas instead of human ninjas, kind of like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Some additional concept art as well as early concept weapons. Number 3, sections and the creation of the system. So while not new information, one of the things this book details. Number 3, sections and the creation of the Lego system. One of the things this book details is how the original idea of the Lego system came about, which is certainly not new to this book, but it is an interesting, in-depth explanation of it. Here we have a picture of Ole Kirk Christensen, founder and the original owner of the Lego Group. The story goes that after a toy fair in Brighton, England, Ole Kirk Christensen began talking to a man named Troels Peterson, who had a critique of the toy industry. He was frustrated that toys basically didn't work together. Toys from different manufacturers, or even toys from the same brand, had many different scales and incompatibilities. This inspired Ole Kirk Christensen to come up with a system of play, which would become Lego. Now, part of the key to how the Lego system works is the dimensions of the bricks and the way that they can be divided into sections. One section is a wall thickness of a brick or plate. Now, A here. The stud is 3 sections across, and so is the inner cavity of a brick. And when we have 2 wall sections plus the stud, we end up with 5 sections across on a 1x1 brick, or 10 sections here on a, say, 1x2. Now, you may wonder, why are bricks taller than they are wide? And that is because of this section system. So if you end up making the brick basically have an inner cavity of 5 sections, the same as the width of the brick, and then you need to add essentially the roof of the brick above it, which would be 1 more section, and then you have 6 sections. So this 5:6 ratio is what you end up with on Lego bricks. Now, certainly this creates some challenges in building because of the difference you have when you turn a brick or plate sideways, and it's It's not the same dimension as the height of a brick, but those attributes are really kind of what defines the overall style of the Lego system that we know today. Number 2, the development of the minifigure. Secret Life of Lego Bricks details the evolution of the minifigure, why it was necessary to create this part, which would become so iconic and central to the whole Lego brand. Of course, early Lego sets did not have minifigures. So this shows some of the early concepts that were actually hand carved, and then the precursor to the minifigure, which was known as a salt pillar figure. Essentially, they were kind of like statues without movable arms and legs. So salt pillar minifigures were introduced in 1975. Here's some cowboy concepts. Here's some usage of them as cowboys. And Lego quickly found that even these very simple figures helped sell sets. Sets with them sold better than sets without. On the left here you can see a portion of the minifigure patent showing the different components that go together to make a minifigure. So this proved out the concept and established the dimensions of the head and approximate dimensions of the torso. Then they would go on to develop minifigures as we know today with movable legs, arms, and so on. But they retain the same size head, a rather interesting size because it's bigger than a normal brick. Another interesting facet of the minifigure development was the creation of the Technic figure. A much more articulated figure that inspired Lego to develop a very elaborate assembly system so that this entire jointed minifigure this entire jointed figure could be assembled in one machine. However, it was very expensive to build these figures, and they were phased out after a few years. Number 1, why castle walls are 5 studs wide. Now, this secret is actually a pretty small part of the book, but something that I found very interesting because of challenges I had building as a kid, using these old castle wall sections, which of course are no longer used, and things that are a bit simpler to build with are now used. But back in the 80s and 90s, when Classic Castle was being produced, Lego developed this wall section, also used in Pirates, which is 5 studs wide with the 3 studs on the bottom, 3 studs on the top, right? And this small window in the center, which is 1 stud wide. I always found it a bit frustrating, the fact that this is 5 studs wide and there were no 5 stud bricks or plates. Of course, nowadays there are some 5 stud plates and also some special 5 stud bricks. Still not super widely used. Mostly you have a lot of even sized bricks other than the 1x1 and 1x3. But there is a good reason for why it was designed this way, and it really has to do with the practicalities of how the Lego designers worked. They would often try to create new elements out of existing elements, either sometimes gluing, cutting, carving them into shape. And this panel was basically made out of 1x3 archway here in the center, as well as various normal bricks and a brick and plate combo. There's a little plate protrusion behind this, if you know the piece. But basically, because of this archway being the right size to make a arrow slit sort of window, they ended up designing a brick around that and ending up with this odd sized wall. Well, there you have it. There's my top 5 secrets from this book. There are many other interesting details to be found in here about the secret of Lego. Well, there you have it. Those are my top 5 secrets from the Secret Life of Lego Bricks. There's many other interesting details in this book, so I would recommend giving it a read if you can get your hands on it. It is pretty expensive used, but a very cool book about history of Lego. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you'd be curious to know about what's in the Secret Life of Lego Bricks. Thanks for watching.